know your views matter.
Hello everybody. Assalamu alaikum, Sastikal, Namaskar to all the listeners. This is Attorney Shaparali, and of course we are going to have a law show debating, not debating, but talking about immigration, and we will be taking the calls in a few minutes. The studio line is 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170, and faithfully with us, of course, is our friend Michael. Thank you, Michael, for being here. And Michael, just to let you know, my internet is not on, so I'm not able to. Please let me know if we have any callers. So I just wanted to make sure that if anything I'm telling you today is my opinion, you should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Now we have a dilemma coming. Of course, this situation of COVID is creating a lot of problems, but it seems also our government is also creating a lot of problems. And as many governments around the world, they are becoming more the problem than the solution. And right now we are seeing, unfortunately, a problem with when it comes to the student visa. First time I saw it, I didn't believe it. I thought it was just some kind of thing coming up, but there is now this is what's happening. So the government says non-immigrant F1 students attending school operating entirely online may not take a full course load and remain in the United States. The U.S. Department U.S. Department of State will not issue visas to students enrolled in the schools and or programs that are fully online for the fall of the semester, nor will the U.S. and Customs and Border Protection permit these students to enter the United States. Active students currently in the United States enroll in such programs must depart the country or take other measures such as transferring to a school with in-person instruction to remain in a lawful status. If not, they may face immigration consequences, including but not limited to the initiation of removal proceedings. Okay, this is big. Number one, it seems like the State Department themselves is saying that people who are enrolled in classes fully online. We know in normal times this is not allowed, definitely. But right now we're not in normal times, and many schools are operating online because they don't want to have classes. And they can't really have classes because most schools, many schools are not open, and they are giving as a matter of, in order to continue the courses, they are doing it online. Now, what they are saying here is that, number one, people who have who are outside and who are enrolled in such classes will not be able to enter. Okay, and the visa will be cancelled on their passport. What we're talking here is the stamp on the passport. Number two, if they're entering, if their visa is not cancelled and they are entering at the border, the CBP, the Custom Border Protection, will actually take issue with that, and that means they will not let the people enter. Now, the third thing, which is the most distressing, are people who are here. People who are here now are not might actually lose their student visa and have to depart from the United States. Now, this is the situation. I think we have one caller, right? Let me take the caller. This is Shaparai. Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Can you please turn off your radio in the background, please? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I have a question on H1B.
Yes, sir.
So I'm actually working for a consultancy on H1B with a particular client. So if I want to work for two different clients, like two jobs within the same consultancy, do I still need to file concurrent H1 or I don't need to?
No. So you're basically working for one company and they're placing you with two different clients, right?
Yeah, presently I'm working for one consultancy with one client, but because of this COVID situation, I think it is safe to have two jobs. So even if one job goes away, I'll have the other job. So I feel it's better to have
when
two
you're
jobs.
Talking about other job, are you going to go with an additional consulting company, or you're just going to go ahead have two clients with the same consulting company?
I feel it's better to have two clients with the same company.
Okay. So if you have this situation, all you have to do is to have an LCA with both clients. But if you're not going to be on the location, okay, there are two different things here. Very interesting question, because this is happening a lot with COVID. If you're going to be working, let's say, for example, from home, and you're going to be catering to those two clients, and your address on the LCA is the home, then no problem. You don't have to do anything, because it's the most important one is the one where you're going to be, and which is going to be from home and working remotely for those two clients. But make sure that when the H1B was filed, your home address was in there. Otherwise, you have to file an amendment to let them know that you're working from home. Although under the COVID, they might kind of forgive that, but you need to still be careful. But yeah, you can work with two clients with the same company, and just make sure, if you're working remotely, make sure that the LCA is for that place where you're sitting. Basically, if you're sitting from home, then LCA has to include your home address.
Okay, so it's always better to have both the remote jobs with the home address if you want to work with the same company.
Oh, no, you don't have to. Let's say, for example, you're working in your office and you have two clients. Then it's not a problem as long as the LCA is on that office. So it's only when you're going to be physically present there you have to have that. Now, if you let's say, for example, before COVID, you had to go on site, right? And now you don't have to go. You're working directly at your main office, like the headquarters. And if the LCA already includes the headquarters in it, then you don't have to do anything. But if in case it's not included, so I will recommend filing an LCA and also filing an amendment to make sure that it doesn't become an issue later. Now, there's a different situation now. Let's say you find two companies to work for, two different companies, two consulting companies, or one consulting or regular. In this case, if you're going to work for two, you need to file what we call concurrent H1Bs. So you need to amend both H1Bs to do it concurrently. So both scenarios are possible. You just have to make sure that you have all the situation covered so that it doesn't become an issue later. Okay?
Yeah, because in the second situation, like how you mentioned, the company has to again file the H1B and it's expensive. But in the first situation, there is not a lot of money involved. So that's the good part.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how much, if you're going to do concurrent filing. The problem with the concurrent filing, both companies have to be concurrent. Let's say, for example, you're working with company A and company B, so you have to inform both, and one will have to amend, the other one is filing a second one. And this is where the problem starts, because many people will actually kind of get upset if you're working with someone else. So just be careful, and if you're working with the same company and both company has the company has two different clients, then it's not an issue as long as the LCA, the place, especially you're probably going to work remotely, you have to have the LCA on that place where you're sitting and working remotely. Okay?
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
And if it is far, you might have to do an amendment also. Give me a call because very interesting question. The number to our office 510-7425-887 and the website to check piralilaw.com, PEERALLY.com, and we'll be glad to answer you in more details if you pretty much want to do a consultation. Please give us a call 510-7425-887. And today, if you want to call us to ask a question, feel free. The studio lines are open. 510-657-1170. 510-657-1170. And also, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any problem on the immigration right now, especially students. They want to know what is next. Feel free to reach out. Give us a call, 510-7425-887, and for if you want to call the studio line, 510-657-1170. So many phone numbers, I'm forgetting them. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go back to the subject we were talking about, but feel free to call. You can call for H-1B issues, you can call for adjustment of status, family petition, marriage petitions, VAWA, abuse situations, U-Visa, H-4, you name it. I'll be glad to answer if I can, of course. And just to let you know, 4 days ago, on July 5th was our 10th anniversary of our show, and it really it feels warm in the heart to realize that this show has been going on pretty much non-stop for 10 years, except the only month we stopped, it was last, I think when the COVID hit, only for 1 month, and luckily we came back on track 1 month or 1.5 months. But after that, things went back to normal. So not normal, of course, nothing is normal, but at least we are back on the show, and I have Michael with us, and that's really that makes us very happy, although I know a lot of people are struggling. So let's go back to that situation of the students. What is happening right now is a situation which is really kind of unfair, because for one, many students are finding themselves no choice, because the school themselves are operating remotely, basically working online, and they are not. It is something very unfair, but like many of the rules we are seeing. But I'm pretty sure there will be some kind of lawsuit or some kind of fight on this, and this will be reversed like most of the things. And as you know, this is an election year and a lot of political things going on. So it's mostly to kind of energize the base, and the funny part is that people will look only at the headline, but they won't look when it's not really, it's a paper tiger or something. But hey, at least they're getting. Unfortunately, some people are enjoying this, but this is really heartbreaking for many people, especially people who have spent so much money to have an education in the U.S. Suddenly, you see your student visa getting terminated. Just why? Because you have it is really kind of a situation where we need to kind of look into that and actually make sure that we understand what is happening. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Attorney Chaparral, and today is July 9th, 2020, and we are talking about the student visa situation. And this is one thing that many people are actually kind of freaking out. Let's put it this way. A lot of people calling me. I even got a call from the Bahamas from a client, and they were getting very worried because they are worried that their children will not be able to actually kind of make it. So the truth is that it will not be working like that. I don't think they will be able to completely block all the students, because that's going to have a really crazy effect. And just like the memo that came out in 2018 August, it was totally blocked. We never heard of it again, and I'm pretty sure it won't come back. Not pretty sure, but at least the chances of it coming back is very low. And even DACA came back. So many of the things that you see are headlines, right? So people will read headlines, they're very happy while they are doing something against immigration and they're enjoying it, and then after that nothing happens, which is a good thing for us. But of course the impact and the stress that it causes is almost making people turn crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Attorney Shaprali. We're live today on Radio Zindagi with Michael on the board, and this is Attorney or Lawyer Shaprali, and we are discussing, of course, about the situation we have right now with the student visa. But again, you can call if you have any questions on immigration, whether it's H-1B, L-1 visa, O visa, stamping, marriage petitions, marriage interview, adjustment of status, you name it, asylum, of course. I will be glad to answer as much as I can. But the focus today is of course that situation we have with student visa, and more it is becoming somehow an oppressive situation, and many people are really kind of very stressed about it, and not only stressed, they are also seeing situations where panicking situations. A lot of people who are stuck outside and taking the classes, they are not really able to. They will not be able to come back if the border reopens, and even the border is not completely closed. People are still coming back, so it is going to create definitely some kind of very, very stressful situation. It is not really, unfortunately, we don't have enough information to confirm that they are applying that, because if you look at what they wrote, is that they say it may affect you. So some people believe that it is not really going to, nothing is really going to happen, just like many of the things. It's just a way to kind of suddenly make people get scared and leave the country, etc. So at this point in time, we recommend, and again, there's not enough information to really kind of tell you yes or no. I recommend not leaving the country. Talk to an attorney, do an assessment on your case before you make any move. The number is 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887, and feel free to reach out, and we will be glad. I will be glad to personally do a consultation and kind of guide you if I can. I really kind of, this is sad, because every week we are seeing some kind of crazy stuff, quote unquote, happening, and this is really going to be stressful. Not only stressful for the students, but for the family who are really kind of not knowing what's happening to their children. First they had to deal with COVID, then they had to deal with having to go to school online, although they're paying full fees. That's another problem. And also the school themselves, they are really probably getting upset, because at the end of the day, if they ask everybody to go in the school, either the school will be forced to reopen for physical classes, or they will have to basically let go of their students. And that's the part which is really kind of distressing. And one of the arguments they brought forward, from what I heard, is the fact that they are saying if you can do those classes online, you can always do it back in your home country. And unfortunately, those classes went online not because they are online by default, because pure online classes has always been something that everybody kind of dealt with in the past, where people who were taking pure online classes, they were having issues with their student visa. However, in this case, the online class happened because there was no choice, and it's happening. And again, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to call if in case, I hope I'm giving the number right, 510-657-1170. 510-657-1170. This is the number to the studio. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So Michael is confirming that it is the right number. So let us know if in case when you call it sounds busy, please call again, because we are here. One of the things that is important to keep the show going are those feedback from you and basically those questions, because there's no way I can put all the permutations right there, but with the questions, what it does, it helps you, plus it helps other people who are really kind of have the same situation, really get an idea what they should do. And again, the number to the studio, 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170, and Michael will be glad to sort out the calls and pass it to us. So now let us go back to the situation. Of course, you have the F1. Now, good news is that it seems the asylum situation has been not solved, but has been blocked, which makes things a little bit better for all of us. But having said that, we will still see the reminiscence of all the issues. One of the things that I wanted to mention today is to cover a topic which is another topic apart from student visa, is the topic of H4 and H4 situations, right? And now they have the H4 EAD. If you are married, of course you have to be married to get the H4, but let's say you're going to a divorce. While the divorce is pending, you might be able to keep the H4, but once the divorce is final divorce decree is out, you are not really eligible to keep that H4, because you're no longer dependent of your spouse, whether it's a husband or wife. Now, the big issue that I'm seeing a lot is, and that's the sad part of it, a lot of people are pretty much kind of, for whatever reasons, is becoming a very one tool to really kind of controlling your other spouse, and many people are being quote unquote be blackmailed if they don't obey or they don't do what the spouse wants. They will go ahead and withdraw the H4, and they can. So, but this is very unfair, because you basically brought that person here with you, and now suddenly you're fighting and you're basically taking away the H4. Having said that, yeah, there are situations that, hey, you're getting a divorce. If things are not working out, there's no purpose for that person to continue to be your dependent. And anyway, even if you want it, it's not going to happen once the situation is once the divorce is finalized. So it is important that you make sure that if you're coming to the United States and you have a spouse, you should treat that spouse well, and that is something very common. And also we have a lot of situation of domestic violence. As you know, domestic violence is a crime in the U.S. Number one, if you are on a non-immigrant visa like H-1B, L-1, etc., or even a green card holder, if you are charged with domestic violence and get convicted of it, depending on the section, you might completely lose your chance to be in the U.S. They don't really forgive that. And number two, also, if you're victims of any of those crimes by your spouse, I recommend that you call the police for different reasons. For one, you don't really want to suffer, and number two, you can be eligible for the U visa. The U visa is set for people who have basically for people who are victims of certain crimes, and one of them is domestic violence. And this is one thing that you really kind of want to make sure that you have under control, because if you don't get any way that you can basically control your domestic violence urge, you need to go for therapy or some counseling. It's very, very important. Because for one, the person who is your victim will be the one benefiting, which is good, but at the same time, you might be deported. So it is very, very important that you make sure that you're not charged of domestic violence, and if in case you are and you have a criminal defense attorney, make sure that they know that you should not be charged of, well, not be charged, but see if they can work something for you, that you get reduced in sentence, because if you get charged and convicted of domestic violence, it's almost a done deal for you. You will probably be sent back, and there's no waiver for it. So be very careful. For one, not only about the immigration side of it, first of all, being abusive to your spouse, especially physical abuse, is not only wrong, it's also a crime. And number two, while you're trying to hurt him or her, he might be, or she might actually get something and you get nothing, and you go back empty-handed. So think well before you act foolishly, or you act really bad. So it is important that you actually kind of make sure that you work out things, or if in case there's any kind of fight, it's better walk out of the house rather than getting physical, because that really will not be forgiven. So I just wanted to mention that, because someone kind of asked me to talk about it, because a lot of people get abused when they come to when they come at the United States, come to the United States with their spouse, and we don't want this to continue. So again, ladies and gentlemen, the lines are open. You can call. It's 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170. And then I wanted to mention there are a few things that is really getting now. So many things happening. We don't even know which part we can start. Any callers, Michael? I think you have one caller. This is Shaprai, 11 here. Hello. Okay, sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. If in case you are trying to call, and try to call again, and the phone line is 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170. And again, we are really in a very weird situation. And the situation that we are calling weird is basically because the COVID, for one, and also all those laws that many of them are not really related to immigration, and people are actually getting basically kind of unfortunately they are suffering from that. I think we have one caller. Let me take Michael. This is Shah, 11 here. Hello.
Hi, good morning. This is Paul. I have a question. My H1B extension was recently filed and got RFE, even though it was approved for the last 3 times. So I've been on the same H1B, same job, everything for 9 years. But now I got RFE, and my current visa is going to expire on August 3. So I was just wondering if I want to have a backup and switch to F1. I read that the change of status itself can take up to 9 months. So what are my options to stay in status during those 9 months?
Okay, very interesting question. If you want to move to F1, you need to file a B1, B2 simultaneously. So the B1, B2 will hold the visa, and everything has to be filed before your H1B gets cancelled. I mean, because in your case, there will be no grace period if there's a denial. So you, to get on the student visa, and yes, it's taking 9 to 11 months to get it. So you need to file, when you're filing the student visa, file the B1, B2. And if you need help, give us a call. We can kind of help you to do that. And you can call our office 510-742-5887. But yes, you will have to file this and the B1, B2, but it has to be filed before anything happens to the H1B.
So we already sent the RFE response. Are you suggesting that I file B1, B2 and F1 right now before we get a response?
Well, I'm not suggesting that, but if you want to do it, you will have to. When is your I-94 expiring?
August 13.
Okay. So I would recommend that you file it before that, because after that it will become very tricky, because if your case is pending, your H1B is pending, you still will be able to stay. However, if in case it's pending and you try to change status, it is a little bit more tricky, because then you're piggy riding on a pending case. So if you feel like your case will not be approved and you want to go on a student visa, I would recommend that you get things moving right now.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you need help, 510-742-5887. Give us a call. We can discuss in more details. Okay?
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is very interesting. I don't know if you have more callers. Michael, this is Shafra. You're live in air. Hello? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting question too, because what you might not know is that when you're filing a F1 visa, even though, unlike other visas, if you file it before your previous status expires, it should, but it doesn't, according to CIS, it doesn't give you a period of stay, because the F1 works in a different way. Within 30 days before the approval, you have to maintain status, and you don't know when the approval will come, so you have to keep filing this B1, B2 every 4 or 5 months to make sure that you have it underlying. And it's kind of the part which is very intriguing about this is that when they passed this law, I think it was in 2018 or 17, if I'm not mistaken, they just passed it like that. They didn't really give an explanation what needs to be done, and a lot of people got burned by that. But bottom line, it is very, very important that you understand that all the stuff are happening. It is getting really kind of scary, of course, but it's been there, so you need to actually kind of be ready for that. And so again, back to student visas, and just to let you know, don't abuse the student visa, because if you do, what will happen is that you will end up by having more problems, especially overusing the CPT on day one. A lot of people have been doing that, but it's not a good idea, because what you're pretty much kind of doing, you're putting yourself into a situation where you have many people who are actually kind of using the student visa as a tool to stay, and the USCIS is not taking this very lightly. So I don't know if we have more callers. This is Shafra. You're live in air. Hello? Okay, we don't have more callers, so feel free to reach out. The studio lines are going to still be open for the next 10 minutes. Just to recap, today we are talking about the student visa, the situation that we have, where basically this new rule where if you go to school online, which is happening for pretty much all the schools, they can actually kind of have immigration consequences, including deportation, which is really the unfair part that we are talking about here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very it's depressing because a lot of people are suffering already with the COVID. They are actually paying school and they can't even attend school. It's not their fault that they're getting punished for that. I think the two rules that we can see here is, one, they want to encourage schools to open and have students back, and number two, it's probably a political move, and I'm hoping that it will pretty much pass. So I recommend that you make sure that you have things under control before you make any move or leave the country, okay? And talk to an attorney. You can call our office 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887, and the studio lines is today 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170. And just to let you know, I usually publish all the shows on our online YouTube. Please subscribe to that, youtube.com/Shapirali, and we can actually kind of look into situations where we can help you as much as we can, and on those online youtube.com/Shapirali Law. I put all those shows, I've been putting it for a while now, and it gives you a chance to kind of listen to it again or share it with your friends. Feel free to do that. And also, if I have updates, I usually use that as a tool to pretty much bring things to their attention. I'm not really having time now to write so many articles like I used to. So now I'm going to shift to something different, which is another big problem that people are facing, and that's not only immigrants, also non-immigrants, also U.S. citizens, etc., is the situation of debts. A lot of people are really kind of now using and living off their credit cards, and later on hoping they will find a job to pay, and if they don't find a job on time, they will end up by having a huge debt on their head. And what do you do next? One of the things, of course, is looking into a bankruptcy. We don't handle bankruptcy, by the way, but bankruptcy is an option, but you have to qualify for it, and etc., etc. So what we have done, we have started negotiating this debt to avoid any kind of issues, and many people have been able to get out of it. We have done that for now almost 10 years, and it has worked really well. And it is something that many people don't know about. What it is a negotiation. It is a negotiation between the two parties, basically from one party. Like, for example, we are the lawyers. If the case is in court, or even with a creditor or some kind of collection agency, we can negotiate for you. What we do, we cut the debt, right? We reduce it. For example, you owe $10,000, we might be able to cut it to $3,000. You pay only the $3,000 and they forgive you the other $7,000. That's just an example. And that's what we do. We've been doing this very successfully for 10 years now, and more than ever, with all the hardship people are facing, this is going to become a way out for many people. So I highly recommend, if you need help on those, check the blog yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, and we can actually kind of see, and if we can help you, you can call our office 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887. And And also, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about is many times when it comes to situations like those, you're better off actually settling this debt. It is important that you know that if you don't pay your debt, what happens to you? If you don't pay your debt, they will come after you. And now, more than ever, with all the things happening, I'm pretty sure they will. And what they do, they pretty much sue you. And many people, they don't have the means to defend themselves. And what it does, it creates what we call a default judgment against you. And a default judgment, what it means is that you didn't show up and the court just made a decision. And once they get that against you, unless you set the default aside, that means you basically reverse it and want a trial, they will be able to pretty much put their hands in your pocket. What it means in your pocket means they can levy your bank account, they can actually garnish your paycheck, they can put lien on your property. And that's one thing that many people don't realize. Like, for example, let's say you own a house and you have an equity of maybe, let's say it's a $500,000 house, you have $100,000 equity. What they will do, they will put a lien on that $100,000 until you pay them. And what it does, when they do that, whenever you sell the house, they get paid first. And that's the part which is very, very disturbing. But if you negotiate with them, you make a deal, you settle the amount, you can pretty much restart over with your life, right? So it is very important to look into something like that. If in case people want to get help, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com. Michael just told me, I think we have another 10 minutes, right, Michael? So I still may be able to take one caller, probably 510-657-1170, 510-657-1170. And again, this is Attorney Sharparali from the Sharparali Law Group, and we are live today. It's July 9th, 2020, and I was discussing earlier about the student visa and the situation, how critical it is, unfortunately, for many people are going to see themselves faced with really kind of a dilemma. If they stay in the United States, what will happen to the student visa, if they're taking classes online. And the part which is really kind of unfair is that it's not their fault. They don't have a choice. Everybody's going on school online. So I recommend that before you make any move or you leave the country in panic, consult with an attorney, and we can do that. I can talk to you to a consultation, 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887. And one of the things that you might want to really kind of look into is actually the if you're going to shift to another visa, right? Many people now have made it to the lottery, they have filed their cases, but then suddenly they get laid off. And if they get laid off before October 1st, when the new H-1B kicks in, it's pretty much a done deal. If the layoff happens after October 1st, you can pretty much kind of transfer the H-1B. But it depends if the case is approved or not. You might be able to get a lot of things done. So I highly recommend that if you want to talk to us, you want a call, please give us a call at 510-742-5887. I mean, if you want a consultation, not a call. And again, today we are seeing a lot of things happening. And of course, we have one caller. Let me take the caller. I think it will be the last caller. This is Sharparali 11A. Hello.
Hi. I actually called before. I actually have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So my priority date for EB2 is around Jan 2015. So do you think there would be any progress on the S386 bill?
I won't count too much on that bill.
Okay.
Since I've been a lawyer, those kind of bills has been going through, and a lot of people who do the lobby are kind of promoting it because it gives them, for whatever reason, it is there. You should actually kind of not count on it, unfortunately. But we never know. With Trump, things are very interesting. But it has to pass the Senate, and so far I don't think it's clear the Senate even. So the only way immigration has moved in the past few years is actually through what we call executive orders, and this is the same thing Trump is using to kind of also hurt people. That's the sad part. So I will not count too much. Having said that, we might see in a couple of years a huge jump. The reason for that is that with the COVID, a lot of people went back and gave up. Some moved to Canada, etc., etc. So we might see a jump in October, and then later you might also see some jump in the next 1 year, because many cases are pretty much being dropped, and that will cause less pressure on the visa bulletin, and you might see actually a jump in the dates, bringing you to probably close to your date. So let's hope and see, but don't count too much on that bill. Okay.
So the best option is to either go for national interest waiver or EB1 for Indians.
National interest waiver is still in EB2, but it's a good question. But national interest waiver, the advantage you have is that if you file it, you get it approved. For one, you don't need an employer, and number two, this thing stays with you forever. You have a job, you don't have a job, it will still be there. So if the dates becomes current in 2015, because you can use that previous date, you can just go ahead, file your adjustment of status, even you don't have a job. So a national interest waiver is interesting, but the best, of course, is EB1, because I think EB1 right now they're processing 2017. If you can get on an EB1, what it will do to you, you will ultimately get a green card, because you can use that priority date. Give me a call at the office if you want us to evaluate your EB1. I can have Sharif do that, because he's very good at it, and we can tell you if you qualify for EB1, and you can take it from there. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
510-742-5887. 510-742-5887. So, very interesting question from Rajesh. It is, should you get EB1 or not? We won't be able to take more calls, Michael. Unfortunately, I know during the time of the COVID, things have changed a lot, and the callers are being less, but it's normally a situation of stress. A lot of people are not calling, but I'm still getting text, etc. from people, and I really appreciate our faithful listeners. People have been listening to us for years, and just so that people know, many people don't know, many listeners don't know that we are on Thursday, because we used to be on Monday and we shifted to Thursday. We used to be on Monday and Thursday. Now we are purely on Thursday. So I recommend that you actually tell your friends. Not recommend. I'm asking you to tell your friends, and you can share it from our YouTube channel, youtube.com/sharperarilaw. You can share that those recorded shows, and hopefully, if people need help, they will be able to get help. So this is the part which is what people actually don't see in reality is that there are many solutions to immigration, but unfortunately many people will take the wrong route, and it will end up by costing them. And Michael, I don't know how much time is left. Please prompt me. I think you just okay. I think we have like 5 minutes, right? So let me kind of cover the other topics that I didn't have a chance to kind of cover in the middle. So one of them, of course, the visa bulletin went up, and for some good, we've seen a jump of, I think, 2 months on EB2, but we also saw a huge jump on EB1, and I don't know if the new visa bulletin came out. I think it has not come out yet, but we need to wait and see what it is for the August visa bulletin, and that will actually kind of give us an idea where things are going, and we will see the trend. If we see EB2 jumping again 3 months, that's good news. We're going to see that for a while. But at the same time, you should also be aware that any time there can be a retrogression. So don't really kind of count it in the normal terms, because this thing moves forward. It may move forward by 2-3 months, and then suddenly it goes backward by 1 year. But I don't think this will happen soon now, because I think I have a feeling, and again it's my feeling, that we are seeing things back now. For a lot of people, they will be able to how to put it, because a lot of people are backing off on their green card. It puts less pressure on the system, which ultimately means less on the side of less demand for the EB2, etc. categories, and you're going to see a jump. And also for EB1, just to let you know, EB1C for managers and executives, they were the one basically eating, quote unquote, eating most of the EB1, and that's why we saw the backlog. But now with L1 cancel, etc., we might see, well, we don't know yet. So it is not we might see a jump, and definitely a good jump might come up, but again, well, there's no way to tell at this point, so we will have to kind of speculate. We don't want to speculate too much. Okay, so now going back, I think we have 1 more minute to go, right, Michael? So I just wanted to thank all the listeners, especially this is our 10th year anniversary of the show. Unfortunately, we are in a shelter situation, so we don't really have time to celebrate, but I wanted to thank you all for being faithful listeners. Please let your friends know that we're on Thursday now, and also anything you need help with on immigration, second opinion, you name it, we will be glad to help. Just give us a call, 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887. I wanted to thank Michael and Radio Zindagi for being patient with me. I've been working pretty much right now non-stop with all the things happening, but at the same time we've been seeing some good results, some approvals, so congratulate our team for that, especially Dashi and Ashna and Shabana and all the team, Aditi. I wanted to say thank you, special thanks to them for supporting, and also our team in San Francisco, Jimmy, Sammy, and also our Washington DC office, and all Rabia, all the team there, so I wanted to thank them. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week. Anything I told you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any question. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. We'll be back next week. Thank you, Michael.